A very interesting painting that comes out of a set is kind of a standard story, but it's the set of paintings depicting the life story of the Buddha. And we have one example here, and it's HAR number 65367. And it's the part of the story where Shakyamuni Buddha is seated under the Bodhi tree, and then he's being attacked by the hallucinations and armies of the god Mara. And down at the lower viewer's right side, we even have the three sisters not sisters, the three daughters of Mara from the story. And then we have some figures in distress on the lower left side, and then we have all these hallucinations and demon type appearances that are trying to cause the Buddha harm. And from the Buddha's body emanating out, beautiful orange color behind, and then we have these dark rays of color. They appear to be blue and red and yellow, and from these rays it transforms the weapons of Mara's army into flower blossoms. So you can see flower blossoms in a kind of circle around the form of the Buddha, and at the tips of all of the weapons of Mara's army. One thing that is also of note, in the upper left side, you see one sort of flesh-colored or pinkish figure with orange hair, and he's holding up what looks to be like some kind of a rock. But actually what it is, it's a depiction of Mount Meru with the four sides and then the four continents surrounding. So it's as if one of the minions of Mara has taken an entire universe and is trying to crash it into the person of the Buddha. But it's all transformed into flowers and rendered harmless. Now, another thing that's noteworthy about this painting is if you look at the robes of the Buddha, they're done very much in the style of what's known as, what's known in Chinese art history as a sandalwood Buddha. Sandalwood Buddha is famous because it's sort of copying the Gandharan robes, the Greco-Roman robes, flowing robes that you would see in Gandharan sculpture. And very much like ripples on water. And this is something that was not actually all that common in the Tibetan regions or the Himalayan regions. It's something that you saw a little bit more with China. But with this particular style of painting, we begin to see it in the 18th century. And this style of painting is coming from southern Kham, and it's coming out of a region called Hlatok, and it's from a specific town or complex called Kampagar, and it is one of the big main centers of the Drukpa Kagyu tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. And there are a number of centers, and as you know, there's upper Drukpa, middle Drukpa, and lower Drukpa, depending on if you're referring to Tibet, Bhutan, or Ladakh. Now, so this painting is done in this special Kampagar or Latok Drukpa Kagyu painting style, and they like to characterize their painting as being based on or a merger, a coming together of the Khenri style, what was referred to as Numenri, and then Khmri. Khmri style means the painting style of Kham province of eastern Tibet. And so what they're doing is they're bringing a little bit of all of these, and they're creating their own kind of style. And you can see this. You can see the Khenri aspect of this with the extremely large blue halo surrounding Shakyamuni's head. That's very unusual to have such a large halo. And this is coming out of more the Khenri tradition. Also, we get transparent halos is also coming out of the Khenri, and that was then employed very much by Situ Penchen and his Pulpung style of painting, which he developed in the 18th century. Now, also, you'll notice the very thick layering of color, and you can see this especially with the clouds at the top right and left, and the lower sides right and left, with these brownish beige clouds and the thick paint. This is also coming more from a Kinry point of view, but there's not enough negative space to be employing a kind of a Kinry style composition and landscape. This is very full, and this is something that we begin to find with the Latok or Drukpa Kagyu style of painting, is they tend to, when they're doing narratives, then they'll fill up the composition. There won't be a lot of negative space, but it's not true for all of their paintings. If they're doing deities or they're depicting teacher figures, then they can have a lot of negative space. Then some of the shading, some of the borders that they add to the clouds, some of this can be New Menrian style. But generally speaking, this is one of the unique new styles within the last several hundred years in Tibet. It's also, I consider it one of the very best of the new styles, is looking at all the different types of composition and use of color, and even how they contrast foreground and background is very interesting. So we'll leave it there. You can press like, you can subscribe, and very importantly, you can make a donation on the homepage of Himalayan Art Resources, and you can also, if you want more information, you want more access for asking questions, more access to the Himalayan Art Resources team, then you can join HAR on Patreon.